Hello everybody, Michael here for Tactica Imperialis. I have another tactics video for you today. I'm talking about the Assault Army. These are becoming slightly rarer in 6th edition because of the various changes to Assault, such as not being allowed to assault from reserve, what else? Overwatch, and other things that have just weakened the Assault phase slightly for armies. But there are Assault armies out there, such as Nid Hordes. The most Death Stars are combat orientated, so I thought it would be a good chance to give you guys some advice on how to go about tackling them. There are usually two types of Assault armies. One is pretty quick, and the other is pretty big. There are of course variations on this, Drago Wing for example, but these are the two general ones, the quick ones and the big ones. The quick ones generally comprise of transport mounted units who can whiz up the board, get in your face and cause a lot of damage before you've got time to react. This is particularly effective against gun lines because they simply can't deal with everything quickly enough. Of course, it's not going to be large units because transport vehicles usually don't have a capacity of 10, 15 tops, and usually the units that can take them are perhaps not the strongest. And generally, the transport vehicles will not be fast unless you're running in Orcs, in which case the Orc truck can be loaded up with 12 models and sent whizzing up at high speed. These assault armies will always comprise distraction units. Distraction units are those who are expendable, who can be thrown in fast and get in the way of the opponent and basically draw fire. If they're wasting guns taking the distraction unit down, the key units can get in, and that's important. So if I'm going to run Orcs as an example, if I'm running that, I would run Distraction Storm Boys, I run Distraction Commandos, just to get up in the enemy's face, confuse them, cause them problems, etc. And I do the same if I was running Nids. I would run things like Gargoyles or Shrikes or other things to get up in my opponent's face and get in the way, be annoying, draw fire, etc, etc. So in terms of dealing with them, obviously if they're very transport mounted or otherwise fast, such as bikes, you're going to need a fair bit of anti-tank firepower. Small arms fire can be quite easily negated by mass transport armies, but that's another tactic in itself. These fast ones need to be neutralised by target priority. Target priority is key. If you target Unit X to the exclusion of all else and you wipe it out, then great. You may have picked up first blood and you are one threat down. I'm not saying that all units focus on Unit X, because sometimes you may have to deal with Unit Y, which is causing you just as much of a headache. But make sure you pick the units that you have to kill. So, to revert back to my Orcs, if I was facing this fast Orc army, I would pick out Warbikers. These guys are fast, they are strong in melee, I need to kill them quickly. I would then think, right, truck units, they are fast, I need to kill them quickly, strand the units in the middle where I can pick them off piecemeal. I would then think, right, what's left that can assault me? Other vehicles such as Death Dreads, squads such as Knobs, which are maybe in battle wagons. These guys are not as quick, so I can pop them at not at my own leisure, but it's a little bit quick, a little bit more easy to do. So bear that in mind, that you have to pick the right units, because if you immediately go for the big scary unit at the back that's trundling up in a slow little transport, you'll forget all the quick units that are coming at you. They'll crash into you, lock you down, and then the big unit can come up unopposed and trouble. The terms of running this fast army, because it's very doable, bear in mind obviously distraction units, and bear in mind what you need to protect. Obviously protect your key assets, so HQ units, elite units such as need to be shielded. If you can mount them in fast things to keep them moving, such as Knob Bikers, then great, because they can get up and be a real threat and force the enemy. So there are two ways of running your key assets actually. One is to make them a Death Star in itself and run them up and say, come at me. Kill me or I'm going to kill you. This should allow the rest of your army to get in unopposed, or relatively unopposed. The other way is obviously to shield them, throw expendable units at your enemy and say, kill these and forget about my key unit and my key unit will come and kill you. This obviously is just as viable, but is a little bit riskier because a canny opponent can see through this, whittle down your distraction units and ping at your key unit with the guns it needs to. Obviously assault armies need to be aware of mass overwatch, so charge priority is quite important. What order you charge in is very important, because if you call a charge and your opponent calls an overwatch, that could be a key unit or wounded or damaged. If you throw an expendable unit and then your key unit, either your opponent will use their Overwatch on the first unit and not have it for the second unit if the charge is failed, or will not use it thinking they'll use it on the key one, get charged and not be able to use it anyway. So pick the order of your charges very carefully. Try and lock down units before you make the key charge. Because sometimes people think, right, I need to do the important one first, and then think, oh my god, I'm going to get Overwatch to pieces here. So pick your units and pick your orders carefully. The other type of assault army is the Horde. This is sort of a similar thing to the Blob, but blobs can be running, shooting and assault, so the tactics for them are relatively similar. However, this is a blob that's going to be coming at you slowly but powerful and in mass numbers. So unlike the fast assault army, this one you can be a bit more discrepant with. Throw blast templates, but still remember your targets. Don't think, okay, there's a huge mob of 30 nids, 30 gaunts coming up the middle, I need to kill that 30 gaunts because they're going to massacre Squad X. When behind it there's a flipping huge Tervigon stomping up, replenishing them. The logical thing to do is try and kill the monstrous creature. The psychic backlash will hurt the Termagants, which is something I may talk about a bit more if I come on to doing the Nid Codex one of these days. And then you can pick off the gaunts. So in terms of Nids, obviously target Synapse creatures. In terms of other assault armies like White Scar Bikers, Marines now have a very viable assault army using White Scar Bikers. Guard could run assault armies theoretically, I suppose. If you throw enough guardsmen at them, they'll go down. So you've got to prioritise what you face and what you use. So target priority still. If you've got large blasts, then all the better. You can just drop them and hit as much things as you can. So it's similar tactics to what I said in my Blobs video, really. Piecemealing them will not help you much. Yeah, it's great. Okay, I've taken 5 off this squad, 5 off this squad, and 5 off this squad. They've still got 10 or 15 left to crash into me, cause me a problem, drain my Overwatch, and let his key units get in. So try and eliminate a unit at a time. If it means you kill a unit a turn, so let's just have an example here. Let's say we have 30 Termagants, 30 Hormagaunts, and an allied detachment of 30 Orc Boys. I know Nids can't do allies, but bear with me on this. You know the Hormagaunts are the fastest, and so need to be taken out because they're bounding leap and etc. So instead of thinking, right, I'm going to fire a bit of each squad, I'm going to fire a bit of these, a bit of these, a bit of these. You think, right, Hormagaunts, die. I'm going to throw everything I have until they die. Anything I've got left over, I pick my next target, which is probably the Termagants, because they've got quite strong guns and can be a viable threat in melee, I suppose. So you focus on them and you bring them down. Anything you have left after that, you throw at the allied orcs, who may have, which I repeat, this is not actually viable. Nids cannot do allies or be allied with. So then focus on the third unit, take it out, and then and that's the best way to do it. Don't think, okay, I'll kill 10 here, and 15 here. There's still going to be a load there to just go, boom, army annihilated. Well, not annihilated, but you know what I mean. So, in terms of the two types of assault army, I'm going to recap quickly. So, fast and horde. Fast users, distraction units, shielding targets, or death starring. Death starring is quite common in fast assault armies because they are great bullet magnets. So Wraith Stars, Knob Biker Wings, are they not Biker Stars? I don't know. And those sorts of things are really good to get up and cause a problem because your opponent cannot ignore them. On the flip side, of course, you shield them and you throw other units to make sure that key unit makes it. It's up to you. In terms of fighting it, target priority. Don't get all floppy and flapped by the assault distraction units who are in your face. Think logically, so don't rush yourself. You're not on a time limit, trust me. Sometimes it's good to stop for a minute and think, right, okay, what have I got to do for this turn? Then you have the horde in terms of using it, again, distraction units, again, shielding your key units, because this time they're not going to have the speed to be a problem. So make sure you shield them well. And multiple threats, the more units you have on the board, the more threat you're going to be to your opponent. Dealing with them, again, target priority, sort out your distractions, and don't go piecemeal. Go, right, unit there, die. Unit there, die. Don't think, okay, I'll kill a bit of these, bit of these, bit of these, and it'll all be fine. It won't. Believe me, I've faced Nid armies before, and if they get to you even with half their number, they can spell pain, particularly for weak melee armies like Guardsmen and Tau. That concludes this analysis video. I will upload the next Space Marine video, the last Space Marine video, the heavy support section, soon, probably Friday, and I will have another tactics video, and I'm probably going to look, or I've sort of summed up the fast and the assault army in one section, so I'll have a look at something tactically. I'm not quite 100% sure yet. Thank you for sticking with it. If you have any opinions or comments, I'd love to hear from you. If you've enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like. Thank you for watching. My name is Michael, and I will see you again.